Hello there, my name's Chris Danesfield. Welcome back to my channel. This is part 7, Jesus, of Club 16 to 24. And I moved in with her. And she was like different. She wasn't all my, my previous girlfriend was a working class girl. Most of the women I'd had sex with or spent any time with were... I'd never known anyone who had her kind of background. She was, you know what, I'll tell you what she reminded me of. She reminded me of the Oasis song, She's Electric. It was as if she had a family full of eccentrics and she'd done things I'd never expected. I didn't even mean to say that last line. And, she'd travelled and she'd experienced things and she'd had a horrible childhood and she worked me, I made my decision, sure, but in looking back, she manipulated me very, very cleverly, and she gave me her opinions on leaving my other girlfriend, and done what people do when they want to get hold of someone. Within about 2 weeks of moving in with her, within about 2 weeks of leaving my first love, who I'd been with for 7 or 8 years, hard to say. She told me she was going to New York to stay with her multi-millionaire ex-boyfriend, who was about 50. She also told me raped her in Morocco. And I remember, just thinking, hang on, right, be cool, be cool. Maybe this is how adults live. I've read about this. I've read about, the writers, Henry Miller and all that, and they live like this. So, don't be an idiot. You're going to come across all working class and dumb and normal if you just go, what? I'm not putting up with that. No, you're my missus. And so I was like, what? Are you sleeping with him? No. She's like, it's stupid. And she went. She got on a fucking plane and went. I'm sitting there. And I'm realising that it's not quite the perfect situation it was worth leaving my other girlfriend for. Still full of alcohol and speed and skunk and, I'm still growing skunk in the old house, the house I moved out of, that I left. That's how I know the old girlfriend's trying to get hold of me, ringing up the house phone all the time. Because I have to go back there occasionally to check all the meters and dials and things. And it's not right, and then when she gets back quickly soon, I find out things are not the perfect dream. I find a pint of sick behind the sofa. It turns out the osteopath she goes and sees twice a week is a psychotherapist. And very, very quickly I realise she's insane, and I am devastated, and not for her. No. I realise I've fucked up. And I want to talk to my ex-girlfriend, and I go to her phone box and I haven't spoken to her now for about 3 months. After leaving her, she answers the phone at her mother's house and I go, hello? And she's just in bits, still in bits. And instead of being honest with her, instead of telling her the truth, instead of saying, I am broken, years of drugs and bad behaviour, years of running from the death of a father, has left me fucked. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm sorry the way I treated you. Can you help me? It's what I should have said to someone who truly loved me. And what I actually said was, I had to leave you because she's better than you and I wanted someone better than you. And I think what I was doing was trying to convince myself the situation was different. I was trying to articulate things to someone who knew me, to someone who certainly had once cared about me, probably still did, although, what I would like things to be like. And I got off that phone conversation, I remember just walking back to the house and I was fucked. The next 6 months, things just went from bad to worse. She was crazy. I'd just come home from college and she'd just go mental, and just like her eyes would be mad, she'd be screaming and throwing glasses at me. I remember she went away to see her mum for a couple of days once, and it was bliss. So I had some mates come up, and you know, it was weird because I'd always loved my friends, and you know, I was always, you know, it's a cliche, but I was kind of the life of the party, you know, not in a mad performing way. I'd just get on with people and tell stories and be funny, and even I could tell they were like, you're not right, man, and I'd be all like really skinny and sort of nervous for the first time in my life, really. You know, she was fucking doing a job on me, man. Hacking away at my confidence, hacking away at my sense of self, hacking away at my self-esteem. I felt like a cunt, you know, and because of the way I treated the other girlfriend, there was the truth that I was as well. I'd been a shit, and this new one was letting me know that about my everyday behaviour. I could not do anything right. I remember she had a load of her friends come up from the West Country, and there was about 6, 7 of them, all girls, and they were all in the room, and I was there, and they kind of just took the piss out of me. You know, not explicitly. They didn't just sit. They weren't like a schoolyard. They weren't just going, "Ugh, ugly, ugly." But you know, anything I said, there was a sneer or like a sarcastic comment, and you know, they're all like middle class, and I just felt like nothing. And I remember thinking, I've got to get out of here. You know, my master's degree was just going down the pan. You know, the more hassle she put, the more shit she gave me, the more speed I was taking, the more alcohol I was taking. There was no fucking about. I couldn't shut up girls. I didn't have it in me anymore. I couldn't talk to. I was trying. I remember just not having it. Didn't have it in me anymore. I'd be sort of go up to me in the student bar, but no, I wasn't sort of young and full of life with a beer. No, I was just sort of like, do you want to maybe? I live quite. I don't worry about it. just, and also there was the truth that if she found out, what would she do? Cut my head off or something? You know, she slept in her trousers, full pair of trousers. Sex was awful with her, awful. It was like almost like she didn't want me to enjoy it. She didn't. It was unpleasant. How can you enjoy having sex with someone that you hate? Sounds like a Morrissey song, doesn't it? How can you have sex with someone that you hate? And I knew I was on suicide watch, and I fucking resented it. And I'm thinking, all my time, I'm thinking, I left my girlfriend for this, and then she became a stripper. She became a fucking stripper. The club was called Hollywood Babes in Leeds, and you know, she would dress up in all this real sexy gear, and she'd disappear. And I remember one night she's meant to come back about midnight, not a sign of her until about 4 o'clock in the morning. She comes walking in like, where the fuck have you been? I've been terrified. And she went, they wanted me to do a private job up in Halifax, so I sort of went up there. Oh, that's reassuring. This is great. And then one night it got held up. They got held up at gunpoint, and I've had to go into college, into the Leeds Uni, and I said, listen, I'm fucked. I'm going to need an extension. I handed in my master's degree thesis, and I said to him, this is a fail. And the thing about those kind of girls, those controlling, hysteric girls, is they will kick off at the worst times possible. Have a mate visit, they'll go mad. You know, need to go and see your mum about something, they'll go mad. Need to get a 30,000 word dissertation in, they'll go mad. Meanwhile, I get her through her fucking degree. She's doing a dance degree. I'm teaching her everything. I'm giving her all my time. She's absorbing it from me. I tell you, absolutely, without fail. Just fucking drive me up, man. Used me, absolutely. Just drunk from me until I was just fucked. And then one day, she gives me, you know, all this madness has been happening. She gives me this Pamela Anderson post. I got this for you, and I know what's going to happen. And that's where this all started. She smashes the bathroom sink. I leave. She kicks the windows. I mean, this kind of stuff happened on a weekly basis. And then I run the road and save her from getting run over. And she says, "You're my angel." And I'm just like, I'm fucked with this, man. And then I moved out of there, rewrote my dissertation, passed my master's degree, and got the fuck out of Leeds, man. And I remember I didn't even really finish with it. It was just like, you know, come on. I'm free. And I remember we were playing the new Blur album in the car, and when we got back, as we went past the Essex border, it felt like home. It wasn't Kent or London, but Essex is near enough. The accent's there. It's only over the water from Dartford. And it was some Blur song, and I was going, "Don't take me home, don't leave me alone." I was like, fucking yes. What a shitstorm Leeds has been. I had more violence up there, and the rest of my, up until then, the rest of my life put together. They didn't like the southern accent, bang, bang in pubs. And from God, man. The ex-girlfriend didn't want to talk to me. I had a couple of very long calls with her, like 2 hours at a time. She would not see me. Just told me how much damage I'd done to her, and I knew it. And like I say, for 10 years, I became obsessed with her. Even when all through that Crack Diaries stuff, when I was with the other girl, I'd write to her, I'd email her and pester her. I'd go down to Maidstone and just sort of smoke crack in bushes and then walk around thinking, oh no, I'll bump into her, and like she'll be like, oh, come in the house, let's have a cup of tea, and I'll fall into her arms. I remember I went out to Venezuela with my mate to get clean once, and all night, every night, I just imagined going back to that town and her saying, look, I'm so sorry, let's give it another go. Like night after night for weeks on end. I went down, I found out where she lived, like just on the internet, and little bits of information off of people. Found her house, there was no one in, so I just went and bought a load of beer. I was on the smack by this point, and the crack, and I'm sitting outside her house just smoking pipes and smoking gear and drinking, and I wake up about 8 hours later in a pool of my own piss with these beer cans all around me. But now there's a light on and a car in the drive, so she must have got home and seen me and just sort of stepped over me while her husband found that out, had gone, who's that? And she probably went, just my stupid ex. Yeah, she's got a kid now, married, seems to be happy as fuck. I've made my apologies, I've forgiven myself. I don't know how she feels about me, it's nothing to do with me. I do the right thing and leave her the fuck alone. So that's how I got to that position. I hope you've enjoyed it. Bit of a weird one. Take care.